I've been sitting all day. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get started now. Carl Edwards is our final contender that has joined us here tonight. And Carl, certainly you got tall order ahead
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
I guess is putting it maybe the best way. But you know, you got to win a race and got to have a few other things happen. But hey, that's sports. So maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, somehow I've got to hope for Kyle Busch and Jeff Gordon to have bad nights, and we've got to win the race. And so it's two things that have to happen. I guess three if you count each of them as separate instances. But the only thing I can control is going out to win the race. So I'm going to go try to win the race. I think that we have a car that can do it. We showed in the spring that we have a fast enough car to lead laps here and to challenge for the win. And I'm telling you guys, there is so much that's going to happen out here. It's going to be hard to keep track of all the scenarios as the night progresses. You know, if Tony Stewart were to have a bad night, it changes a lot. If Jeff and Kyle had bad nights, it puts a lot more pressure on us. And I've seen a lot of crazy things happen in this sport, so that's why I'm doing my best to not think about what if we don't make it. I'm trying to just focus on what I can do to win this race. And I mean, I've got both fingers, all my toes, everything crossed for hoping that works out.
Is it simpler for you, Carl? You don't have to worry about all these other scenarios.
Yeah.
Right, where whatever your focus is singular.
Right. We have one. The first thing that we have to do, the only thing that we have to do is we have to win the race. I mean, that if we don't win the race, we have no shot. And I know it must sound funny to you guys. I'm sitting here, I haven't won a race in 70 races or something like that. I don't know how long it's been, 50 something races. But I'm going to sit here and tell you I can win this race, and it's going to happen. That's what we're going to go do. And that's how race car drivers think. And if we can do that, it is not far-fetched to see a couple guys having bad nights. With everything that's going to happen here in this race, I think that it could happen. And I'm hoping that it does. That would be unreal to be doing that backflip on the front straightaway and to be in the chase. That would be cool.
As frustrated or disappointed as you may be to be in this position, there's a lot of other really good drivers like you that are also in this position to fight it. How surprising is that yourself and Jeff Gordon and Kyle and these guys that you would have expected to knock out?
Well, yeah, it makes me feel real good that Jeff Gordon's in as bad a position as I'm in. I mean, he's guys like that are very good race car drivers, as good as they get, and it shows you how tough this sport is. A year ago, we were cruising right now. We were dominating the points, not a care in the world. Pretty sure we were going to be contenders for the championship. I mean, everything was great. And then you fast forward 1 year, and it's a whole different story. And I think the true tragedy for us, we talked about this a little bit, would be to not make the chase and then have all of these things we've been working on come to fruition, go out and win 6 races or something and not even be in contention. So we want to be in it if we can. But I want to make something really clear. I've thought about this. I mean, I try to stay really positive. I try to look at the bright side and to keep my confidence. And at the end of the day, what we're going to do, I can guarantee you one thing. We're going to come to every race this year, whether we're in the chase or not. We're going to do the very best we can, try to win. We're going to prepare for next year. If we're not in the chase, we're going to use all of that energy we can to prepare for next year and go try to win the championship next year. So it's really as frustrating as it would be if we didn't make it, it's not going to really change much of what we do. We've got to go be the best we can be all the time.
Carl, to follow up on that, do you feel like the speed is back in your cars?
It's a good question. He asked if I feel like the speed is back in our cars. I talked to Robbie Reiser quite a bit today, and we're right on the verge. Can you hear me? You guys can hear me okay still? Okay. Yeah, okay. So I think it just lost the speakers, right? It's still in your guys' ears, so that's okay. Okay. So it's just a speaker. Do you want me to keep talking or do you want me to just wait?
Keep talking.
Okay. What was the question again? Yeah. So I talked to Robbie Reiser, and if you look, is Matt and Greg are first and second, right? Are they first and second? Are they?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, so obviously our cars have the speed to lead the points, to be in front of the field, but we still aren't dominant. We're really close. So we look at it in we have different individual things we work on. The short track program, which is our weakest point. The intermediates, which we're right on the verge of being competitive with the Hendrick guys. You know, Greg was able to win at Michigan, and was it Michigan they just won? But it took Jimmy Johnson having trouble. So I think we're close there, and our speedway program, I think we're as good or better than anyone. So I think we've got 2 out of 3 pretty good. If we can work on our short track program, we'll be really good. But even with that being said, they're leading the points right now, Greg. And so we're close.
I guess what I'm asking is, regardless of what happens Saturday night,
right.
I feel like you guys are kind of getting over a hump in terms of your cars being faster.
Yes, we are. We're getting over the hump, but we're not over it yet. I know what it's like to have the fastest cars in the garage. We don't have the fastest cars in the garage right now, but I'm telling you, we're better. On average, over the last 2 years, we've been the best we've been over a couple of years. I mean, last year we were very, very good at the beginning. It lulled, and we're coming back up. I mean, we're not as far off as we've been.
Are you and Chad going to be together next year? Do you know yet?
I don't know what we're going to do next year. Robbie and I talked a little bit about that today. Chad has been doing a great job. I don't think we've really given him time. I mean, like, he's just figuring out how I am, and we're just working through it. So my goal would be to work with Chad for the rest of the year and be able to make a very good decision with Chad being part of the decision making, because we're still at the point where he's telling me things that I'm doing wrong that he doesn't like, and I'm telling him things that I don't like. I mean, we haven't really figured each other out. So
This race gets overhyped a lot.
Yeah. Right.
By the way, and then we get to the race.
Yeah.
It's calm. You're kind of hoping for the others.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping for an insane race. I want things to just be off the chart. I want, rain delays and oil on the track, and if any fans I don't want to prompt the fans to do anything, but I want things to happen. I need this race to go. I need it to be insane. I need people running out of fuel and crazy cautions and 4 wide down in turn 1. That's what I need, and I'll take whatever I can get.
I've asked a couple of drivers this. Dale Jr.'s leading the race. You're in second. Kyle and Jeff are falling way back. You want him to win the race and get the
If
chase.
Kyle and Jeff are in the positions they need to be, I would not want to be in front of our 99 car at the end of this race if it meant the win. We have to win, and that's all there is to it.
What can you bring from that spring race here? In terms of, you have the same setup, same...
There's a couple things from the spring race. Number 1, we were very, very good for the first 3 quarters of the race. 2, I think Tony was the best car, and I got to race with him long enough to see where he was beating us, and we tried to address that. And I think those things were those are the 2 things I learned. Number 1, we can do it. 2, I know where we got beat. So unless somebody comes up with some really great stuff, I really think we should be competitive. What's that? Yeah, I'll be really cautious on my restarts, and I'll make sure to know whether I'm leading the race or not. That was crazy.
Do you ever think about that race in the situation you're in now? Is the big one that got away?
I think I do. I think about that race a little bit, but you just never know. I mean, if that race, if it hadn't gone that way for us, Kyle wouldn't have his win. I mean, there's so many things that happen in this sport. I've had races that I never should have won that I've won, and races that, we were dominant and we didn't get. So I try not to. I never feel like the sport owes me anything.
Carl, you talk about keeping your confidence up
Yeah.
and forgetting about the frustrations.
Right.
How do you do that? I mean, how do you put
Man.
bad things out of your mind and focus on what might be?
I'll tell you, this sport will toughen you up in a number of different ways. It's, there's pressure every week. The first couple of weeks I ran Cup, I thought there's no way these guys could do this every week. There's so much hype and pressure, and the microscope is just right on you the whole time. So I've learned over the years and through some of these battles to deal with the stresses and to not let them affect the way I perform. So that's what I've worked on the last couple of years. I feel like that if I bring my A game every week, no matter what's going on outside the race car, no matter what happened the week before or what's on the line, if I bring that A game every week, that's my job. And I got tested pretty hard last year at Homestead, and I think that was probably something that I'll always go back to and have a lot of that helped me to have this confidence.
It's been kind of a long season. There's been a lot of things that happened.
Yeah.
Sitting here now, are you kind of still in is there some degree of disbelief that you're...
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. This season has been a blur to me. I go back and pick it apart. I can't believe all the points we gave up and the problems we had, and it doesn't feel like it's been a long season. to me, I know it sounds silly, but it feels like the season hasn't started. I haven't got my feet under me. I feel like we haven't got going, but it is what it is. I mean, we're 25 races in, and this is where we're at, so there's nothing I can do about it. But man, I give anything to go back and run a couple of those races over and get some of those points.
In years past, they've had like the hangover effect, you know, the person that came second.
Yeah.
What do you think's changed?
Now, what do you
Like, what's changed? Sometimes from the person that came in number 2 that didn't win the chase, you know, they can come back the next year and win.
Yeah, I don't. This, I think it's just chance, but it's true. I mean, it seems like the guys. 2008, it was me, and we finished second, and we were terrible in 2009. Who was second in 2009? Do you remember? I don't know. Was it Martin? Mark. But I don't think he ran the full season in 10, or did he? Did he have a bad year? All right. Well, anyway, so lately it's been the second place guys struggled. So I don't know if there's anything to that, but it's rang true. I mean, it's the way it's been lately.
Along the same lines as what David had asked you about, you know, people expect the race to be crazy, and oftentimes it doesn't end up that way. Is there a greater potential this year because there are half a dozen guys that have to get the win? Past years, maybe 1 or 2 needed a win to get in, but there are so many that must win.
What's going to make this race crazy is if there's a restart, you know, if there's a caution with, like last week, if the race gets strung out, everybody knows who's got fast cars halfway in the race. And if it just goes green, it'll be probably a fairly calm race. But if we get a caution with 5 to go, 6 to go, it's going to be insane. There are going to be guys staying out on 100-lap tires and blocking and going. I mean, it's going to be crazy. So, you know, that's, if I'm not leading it, I hope we get that caution. I hope we get a chance to make something happen. But I believe, you know, I believe this. To me, I feel like the hype is real. I feel like that there are a lot of guys with a lot on the line, willing to risk a bunch, and if the circumstances are right, you're going to see an insane race.
You guys tell us y'all do that every week. You put it all out on the
I
line.
know.
So how's it going to be different?
It's a little different when you know your whole season's riding on a finish, and lots of times you don't get the chance. So, you know, if you're running 10th on the restart and the leaders go away, I mean, it really doesn't matter what you want or what there's nothing you can do to get yourself to the lead. When the craziness happens is when a guy has a shot and he knows that's his only shot, and that's, you know, you saw Jeff Gordon last week. I heard what he said after the race about, you know, how he questioned himself and he thought, man, I'm getting soft and I should have taken that chance. Everybody's done that all year, and it's built up to where I think people will be taking the chance. You know, no matter how nice people they are, I think if they can get it, they'll have to. I mean, it's your job.
So you don't, a lot of times when a driver knocks another driver out of the way, they get, the ethics come into place.
Right.
That was the right thing to do. Do you think all bets are off, that people want to look at you differently?
You know, I think truly, I think in a situation like this, if nobody's going to blame a guy for going for it and being a little aggressive. I mean, you can't. There's a difference between just like wrecking somebody and trying to ruin their night, or just moving them out of the way to win. And I think there will be more not more patience, but more acceptance of that stuff this weekend, just because there's so much on the line. I mean, it's, you know, but it doesn't mean the emotions won't be there. But you know, I think people will understand it better after they calm down.
So if you're like 3rd place and Jeff and Powell in front of you, you had to take them out of the way so they finish way back. You would just go for it?
I never make a plan. I never say what I would do because you never know what the circumstances are going to be. But I wouldn't change the channel if that scenario is presented. I mean, that's just the way it is.
If you don't make the chase, will that change the intensity of the final 10 races for you and your team, even though there'll be a new car next year?
That's a good question. I thought about this a little bit. If we don't make it, I didn't think about it a lot, but I thought about it a little bit. There's a couple of things we can do. Number one, we can build our team to be the best it can be for 2013. Even though it's a different car, there's still a lot of stuff we can do. But I think more importantly, I can help Matt Kenseth and Greg Biffle to be the best that they can be. So they'll have virtually a test driver over here in Carl Edwards and the 99 team, and we can help them to try things in practice. We can give them more information than we normally would. We can, I can help them with any advice during qualifying, during the race, anything I can do to help them to win is what I'll do. And I think that could be a beneficial thing for our team.
What would it be to you to at least make sure you get one win?
Oh yeah, we really want to get wins. So yeah, that would mean a lot. You're wearing a KU shirt. Can't believe you. No, Mizzou, man. We were like burning each other's cities down 100 years ago. So yeah, we want to win. I talked to. I texted with Darrell Waltrip this week, and he was right. He said, "Just win. That fixes everything. No matter what, just win some races." And he's right.
Hey, Carl, it seems like an overriding theme today when people mention your name. The reaction is, "Oh yeah, Carl's in."
Yeah, right.
Do you like being in a situation like that?
Yeah, it's no good that people don't think of you right off the bat, but yeah, it's fine with me. I've had all the expectation in the world, and I've had no expectation, and I've let people down. I've shocked people, so it doesn't matter to me really. I've been through enough now that we'll just go do whatever we've got to do, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, that's just the way it is.
I'll wear my MU shirt.
Thank you. All right. Don't put them next to each other in the suitcase or anything.
Anybody else?
All right.
Anybody else have a question for Carl?
Yeah. So it's Georgia Saturday, right?
Saturday night after.
Man.
What do you think about that? What do you think about Missouri being in the
Well, I've been over to Faroe to the stadium a couple times, and I've seen all the upgrades. They've at Mizzou. They've got new turf and new bleachers and all sorts of stuff. I know Gary Pinkel's doing a really good job of keeping everybody's expectations down and keeping everybody, realistic about the fact that we have to go prove ourselves as a team. But man, I consider Gary Pinkel a friend. We've talked enough that I can tell you he is one of the most driven, dedicated individuals on earth. And if there's a coach that can make something happen and shock the world, it's Gary Pinkel. All right.
Thank you, Carl.
Thanks, guys.